Good morning. My name is Lisa Roy. I'm the director of the Legislative Internship Program up in Hartford, and I'm very happy to be with you here today to talk about our program. We're currently in our recruitment phase at colleges across the state, looking for students to come join us to become staffers in the Connecticut General Assembly this spring. Applications are out now, and the process runs through November, and we look for you to join us January through May. We are looking for students, again, statewide, and we have no requirements versus major. In fact, we encourage a diversity of applicants because as the state, we legislate everything. So regardless of your industry, public or private, or what you're going to go into, we have a committee for that. And that's exactly what our legislators are serving on, a variety of committees, and looking for you students to come join them to assist them up at the legislature. What does an intern do is a frequent question we get asked, and I can't answer you specifically what you would do, but I have some materials here with me today and on the website that talk about an intern job description. Your service up at the legislature can be anything from assisting a legislator on a committee. If they're a leader on the committee, you might be involved in helping to clerk that committee, which means assisting them and the public into the process of a public hearing process, collecting testimony, assisting on public hearing days, maybe summarizing testimony, fielding the public and helping them through that process. If you are working with a legislator who's maybe not a leader on a committee, you may perhaps be more engaged in constituent service, which is helping the people of the state who contact their legislator to receive assistance in figuring out, is this a local matter, is it a state matter, is it a federal level? Maybe you refer them out. If it's something handled at the state level, you help them to coordinate that assistance with that state agency. I will say that we do not expect you to know how to do this from day one. Our program is tailored in such a way as to offer training. We will train you to do research to assist the legislator in the research, which will likely be part of what you do as well. We're going to provide you, we're going to orient you to the building. Orientation happens in January. We'll have you come down for a couple of days to spend time with us to sort of get to a feel for it. We have ongoing training in computer programs, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, again, so that you can assist in that office and be successful in that endeavor. But the neat thing about our program is, so you do have your placement with your legislator. You're going to learn all about how a bill becomes a law. And that's what we look for most in our students who apply. As I said, we have no requirement on major, but we are looking for students with a curiosity as how the system works. Who really are the players in all this? Who really controls the process? Who participates in the process? But even more so, how do you affect the process? And this goes back into why it's attractive to people regardless of their major, because you're going to learn how to affect the process, how to teach others to affect the process. So whether you're working in public or private sector with clients or with constituents or with patients, whatever it might be, we're going to teach you how to affect the process that creates the rules or gives the funding that supports all of that, so to speak. So that's part A. You're going to learn that. Part B is that we try to spend a lot of time with our students to help them to really take advantage of the opportunity of being in Hartford and having access to such a wide variety of people who come through the building on any given day. As I said, we have a committee process. The committees hear the bills and legislation that's being intended or has been passed and is looking to be tweaked on every industry in the state. So those people actually come into Hartford to advocate one way or another on all those things. Because of that, we have access to a wide variety of people in every walk of life. So whether when you come in, many times students kind of know, I want to go into business, I want to go do something with public security, but they don't really know what tangibly that is. They have an idea of what that might be. We tried to take that idea and come up with, think of outside the box a little and look at it from the perspective of government. At state government level, what are all the ways that business or environment or public safety and security is handled at the state level? We don't just look at the building like the public safety committee of the building. You'll likely be paired with a legislator if that's your interest area on that committee to start with. But we go external. We look at all the state agencies, what their roles might be. We look at the state to federal government connection, what agencies and people are involved in that. We will go to nonprofits, look at the nonprofits that are involved in the process, the different groups and agencies that are involved. Is it something the state's attorney general is involved in, or the state's attorney? We'll look at public and private partnerships that interact with us at the Capitol. And when I say look at, we're not just going to say you should go talk to so-and-so. We're going to help you to make that connection. We'll provide you with phone numbers. We might walk you up, help you to shake their hand. And I say we because it's not just me. I provide a lot of support in that endeavor, but every legislator who participates in our program understands that it's a mentoring program. So they're there to help you make those connections, think about the bigger picture, what you can access while you're there. So as much as they want you to get the work done in their office, and they will, they're going to help you to make time to reach out and do those other things. In the time you're there, you're scheduled to be there. I will return to that briefly in a minute, but I want to talk a little bit about what we're looking for in terms of, I said, scheduled to be there. So we offer part-time and full-time internships up at the Capitol. A part-time internship would be a 2-day-a-week commitment, so 2 full 8-hour days in Hartford, and a full-time would be 5. Usually we look at a Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday schedule. Coincides with your college schedules, which is great, but also that's the way our committees work up in Hartford on what we call AB schedule. So also there are a few requirements to participate in the program. You need to be 18 years of age or older. You have to have a 2.7 GPA, minimum GPA or higher to participate. You have to have completed 20 credits by January. So if you're in the process of doing that now, that's great. Apply, no problem. I will work with your on-campus advisor in order to make sure that you complete those, but please do apply. And you have to be enrolled in a class to get credit for the program. A lot of students will ask, is this a paid internship? No, it's not. Unfortunately, paid internships in public service or in government at the undergraduate level, I have not found one yet. If you do find one, let me know. But they're few and far between. But it is a 4-credit, so it shouldn't slow you down in your path towards graduation. Every school and every program might have a different way that you can apply that credit in your major, but they do take it, and it is transferable because, as I said, we operate out of every school, college in the state, so it's transferable credit. I want to return just briefly, and I'm going to pop over here, grab my handouts. I do have some handouts here that are going to provide a lot of the bones of what I've sort of discussed of the technicals of the eligibility requirements. There's this sort of year schedule so you can see how the process would work. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about our supplemental programming. I work a lot with students, again, on that goal setting piece, helping you take advantage of really getting exposure and thinking big picture of all the ways you might apply your major in whatever your interest area is. Part of that is through workshops and meetings that I plan for students, all based on student input. So it's going to be happening right there in the building for you. You can pop down to a forum that is a career forum with individuals that have been interns and are now working in the student interest areas, or different, as I said, we have a lobbyist forum, we have different panel discussions and things of that nature. But we also do field trips, again, based on student input, and to give you an idea of how different our students are. Last year, we did everything from went to the Supreme Court to hear a Supreme Court docket heard, to go to ESPN, to do a tour of ESPN, to see a private business in our state and how they function in our state, which a lot of people have questions about because we're kind of supposedly not business friendly, to going to, I send you to jail. I hope it's the only time you go to jail. And we let you leave as long as you behave, right that same day. But it's a great opportunity for students, again, to see how the system functions. We are toured by a warden, usually, and guards. They speak one-on-one with us about how the jail runs, the services they provide for the inmates. And something that's really been very interesting, our governor, the current governor, has had a lot of movement in his early release programming. It was an effort he wanted to see happen. So 2 years ago, our students actually spoke directly with inmates in the facility who were trying to get the word back to Hartford, to the legislators who were currently voting on that issue, as to what they like to see happening in terms of early release programming. And just this last year, we toured the new juvenile offender unit in Cheshire. It's a pilot program, one of the first few, I think, in the nation. And our students were like the second people even in that building, and the warden toured them at the building, and they got to learn all about that. But just from those trips, you could see there's a wide variety of opportunities and exposure, because there's a wide variety of students that participate. And that's great for us because, as I said, our legislators serve on such a wide variety of committees. Having that varying interest is really important. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about our program. Certainly, if you're interested and you kind of think it might be something you're interested in, but you're really not totally sure that this would be a good fit for you, please ask me. Also in the materials, your professor is our on-campus provisor. On-campus advisor for the program. So although you may have a specific advisor for the school, he is the campus advisor for the program. Dr. O'Leary, and I have his contact information. It's also on the website here. So he'll work with you to fill out the application, to get the materials you need up to Hartford to apply. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
I have a question about the early release program.
Yes.
Okay, so in terms of the early release program, you're letting some of the inmates out, I'm guessing earlier than anticipated, but how do you ensure them employment once they leave incarceration?
That would be the perfect question to be asking when you go on the field trip. I can't say that I have all this, I haven't gone on the field trip, I don't have all the specifics about the program, but that's just the kind of questions that our students get to engage in and get answered for them when they participate in that. Yes.
So these field trips that you get to go on, are they like set up through your internship, or are they kind of on your own time while you're doing your internship?
They are offered, I coordinate those,
Okay.
I coordinate all of this supplemental programming. They're offered during the week, so, and during the time you're here. I, in the past, try to have 2 of everything. So I hit both the Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday population. But there has been, ESPN is one of those rare instances where I'm granted 1 ESPN tour. So students can it'll either coincide with the day you're there, which is great and you should go, or some students have come up an additional day just to do that trip.
Okay.
But they're coordinated and offered through me.
So let's say, for instance, you're a full-time, employee there, and you work Monday to Friday, like you said. How would you be able to go on one of these field trips? You can't just kind of just leave your...
You do.
Oh,
you communicate, and like I said, our legislators are very supportive of this sort of thing. I tell you in advance, you ask them in advance, or say, I'd like to attend this, is this going to be a problem? And I've never had a student tell me that they couldn't go because their legislator said they couldn't go. Our legislators are very supportive of opportunities for students to get this kind of exposure. But you do have to coordinate and communicate with the office you're assigned to let them know this is something you're interested in advance. Are there any other questions? Yes?
What hours of the day is the internship, or will you know when you're assigned?
All I can tell you is it's an 8-hour day, and we commit you to when you apply, you're actually going to say these are the days of the week I would like to be there. Is terms of when you're going to arrive and when you're going to leave, there's a general window students work, generally not before 8, generally not after 6. There's some flexibility to move within there, but that's something once your first day with your legislator, that's the first thing you're going to discuss with them. You're going to say, here's the schedule that works best for me. Will that work for you? And you're going to talk with the legislator and the staffer. As long as one of them is there, I don't think they're going to have an issue with that. But certainly, we have students that sometimes need to tweak it a little. If you are Monday, Wednesday, and you need to stay an hour late on Monday so you can leave an hour early on Wednesday, most of our legislators in their offices are very flexible.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you guys have any sort of like dressing policy? Like, is it a formal policy or like?
Yes, we have a formal dress code. It is the dress code that everyone in the building must follow. It's business professional, and so it doesn't have to be a suit every day. Please, you do not have to suit up every day. We ask that you do have a jacket on days that the legislature's in session, or something that resembles a jacket, so that you look professional. We'll provide you with that dress code policy from the start. But that's a good point to bring up. For many of our students, this is the first professional business environment that they get to work in. So you get to not only have that experience on your resume, the formal placement in a professional business environment and the training that you'll receive, again, on the word processing and things of that nature, but you get to get a feel of what that's going to be like, and that's very attractive to employers to see, or others who might be looking to go on for other advancement opportunities or other internships. Are there any other questions? No. I do also want to note, I don't arrange them myself, but many times carpool arrangements do happen. So not just from your school, but I was speaking to Dr. O'Leary about Conn College is another school we have participate that's in the area. So certainly I will make sure you all know each other and where you're coming from, and certainly would look to encourage carpool arrangements for those who are interested, but you do have to have reliable transportation of your own when you do apply, so that way we don't have any issues. We have had people take the bus, not from this area, but from Waterbury, which was challenging, but they've done it. So if there's a will, there's certainly a way, and we would love to have you join us. What's that? Uber, yes. Uber, maybe. As the Department of Transportation actually has a carpool coordination service right online where you can go on there and see who in your area is driving into Hartford and is willing to do that as well. I don't know a lot about that, but I do know that exists. Any other questions you might have? No? Well, then I'll close here, but I will leave anyone interested with some pamphlets and information. You could also find us on our website, which is right off of the Connecticut General Assembly webpage at www.cga.ct.gov. Just look for the Internship Committee in the committee list or in the offices drop-down. So again, we're accepting applications now till November 1st, but we run every year for the spring semester. So if it doesn't fit into your schedule this year, please do keep us in mind. Thank you very much.